Hello, Toolkit Masters. Fantastic to have you here. Wow, it's Thursday again. It comes around so quickly, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm excited to be here. So what we are going to talk about today is a really interesting topic that I think is really relevant to everybody. I've got some great people on the line. I can see people on the line. So I just want to make sure that you can see and hear me. So down in the bottom left-hand or bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see a chat box. If you can just write in there that you can see and hear me, give me a thumbs up, give me a hi, give me a whatever you can, and that'd be fantastic. All right. So, and then we will start. All right. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Is everything good? All right, I'm just checking on my other screen. Okay, I've got a yes from Sam. Fantastic. All right, have we got some people on the line? If you can just put in the chat box that you can see and hear me, then we'll start. I've got a great topic to share with you today. It's going to be something really relevant to all of us. So whether you are just taken over a leadership position or whether you've been in a leadership position for some time, this is going to be really, really interesting. So let me know if you can see and hear me. Hi, Hayley. How you going? Nice to see you. Fantastic. All right. So I'm assuming that we can be seen and heard. That's fantastic. You will let me know if anything changes, right? So if you lose sound or if you lose picture, just let me know and we'll have a little bit of a tweak over here. Okay, so we've got some really great stuff to share. First off, I want to say thank you for joining me on Q&A Thursday. I love Thursdays. It's where we get together and we get to have a good chat about some certain things. We've had some questions come through our ask@teamleadertoolkit.com, which is fantastic. So keep them coming through. A couple of questions were a little bit more personable. So they opted to not share, which is fine. That's absolutely fine. But we do have a really good topic that's along the general theme of some of those questions. So we will share that with you today. Hey, Flick. Hey, Tony. Great to see you. All right. Okay, so we've got some great stuff today. So what I want to do without further ado, now, as we do this, remember, if you've got any questions, if you want to add anything to the conversation, if you want to tell us a quick short story, whatever, feel free to contribute whenever you feel the need, okay? So don't hold back. But in the meantime, while we're talking about that, I'm going to share my screen with you and we will have a bit of a chat. All right, here we go. Ready? All right, and you'll see me down here. Fantastic. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Well, it's an interesting topic, and it's about the 4 common mistakes that people make in the first 100 days of being a new leader. Now, you might be past that 100 days, so you go, oh, this is not really relevant to me, but I think it is, because sometimes what I've seen in the workplace is leaders get into a bit of a habit of some of these common things, and they don't realise the impact that it has on others. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the 4 biggest mistakes that we can make as new leaders. And then we're going to talk about the 4 remedies that will help us or stop us from continuing to do those mistakes. So, you know, as you probably remember, being a first-time leader, we're probably a nightmare to work with, because we've been promoted into that position because of what we do well with regards to our technical skills. So we've been promoted into that position because we are really good at what we do, but we've never led a team of people. So there's some real common mistakes that we make as new leaders first up. Because remember, that's when, you know, you're getting watched in that first 90 days, first 3 months, first 100 days. You're getting watched. You're getting, you know, you're scrutinised, assessed, approved, rejected by your reports, your peers, your partners, your clients, your boss, all those sorts of people. And so sometimes it causes us to do behaviours that we wouldn't normally do. And that's all with good intent. It's all with pure, you know, pure intent. It's just we get a little bit of over enthusiastic sometimes, and we start doing things, and then that becomes the norm, and then we don't know how to get ourselves out of those. So let's have a chat about those and what they are today. All right. So the first one is making bold proclamations. Now, what we you know, it's the dawn of a new era. You've taken over this particular department or this area or this team of people, and it's a dawn of a new era. You've got some grand visions for the organisation or your department or your team. You can't wait to share it with everyone. You want to share it with everyone from your team to your boss to all your peers. You're really, really keen. And you're going to say, you know, we're going to make it #1 this time next year. We're going to be #1, or we're going to meet every KPI next year. You just wait and see, or wait till you hear the new direction I've got in mind. It's going to be really cool. Now, you really can't really contain your enthusiasm because you're in this new position and you can see what you can do and how you can make a difference. And so you want to voice that. But instead of infusing confidence in people, what usually happens is you make people a bit nervous, a bit uncertain how they're going to fit in this new world, right? So then they start to back off and they start to push back on you and all those sorts of things. So it's really, really important to be aware that that is probably not what you want to do. So what do you do instead? So instead of making those bold proclamations, even though it's done with good intent and enthusiasm, let's have a look at what we can do. So what I want you to think about doing is listening a whole lot more, right? So aim to have a talk-listen ratio of about 3 to 1. So what I mean by that is listen 3 times more than you're talking. Or even if you can think, I've got 2 ears, 1 mouth, that means I need to hear double as much as I speak. Even up that to 3 to 1. So you need to really hear your team out. So in that first 100 days, it's more seeking to understand what everybody's about, who's who in the zoo, what's everyone thinking about, what's happened in the past, what hasn't happened in the past. So it's all those sorts of things. So what do they need? What do they need to perform better? What do they need from you? What has worked for other leaders that they've had in the past, or what have they found really irritating? You know, what keeps them up late at night? What's their burning platform? What motivation do they need? What do they need from you? As in, what hope do they need from you? You know, to hear what your new colleagues are saying is one thing, but to truly listen to what they have to say is a whole different skill. And that's being present in there. So if people are coming into your office, close your laptop down, turn your phone off, really listen, be present in those conversations in that first 100 days. It will make a world of difference. And I know you're keen and you want to make a difference and you want to show people that you're doing stuff. Well, you know what? A good leader will sit back and they will survey the area and they will talk to their people and they will listen to their people in that first 100 days to really gauge what's going on and who's who in the zoo. So you have to be patient during this time, okay? So don't listen to just their words as well. Take in their energy. What are they passionate about? Where does their enthusiasm lie? Because that's how they can be motivated, okay? So you learn a lot about your people in that first 100 days. You will learn a whole lot more than if you come in with great big proclamations about how you're going to change the world. So why don't we do that? So remember, instead of making bold proclamations, make sure that you listen in a ratio of 3 to 1. So listen 3 times more than you actually speak, and you'll find that it's going to make a world of difference. Okay, so that's number 1 and the remedy for number 1. What's number 2, I hear you ask? Well, it's a great question. Yes, Tony, I'm here. Can you not see anything? Is anyone else having that issue? Tony's saying that he can't see anything. Maybe you could reconnect if you've got connection problems there, Tony. Sometimes there's a little reconnection button there. And so try that. I've got another person in the room here with me and they've got me on their computer. So I'm assuming I'm getting out okay. But keep trying and let me know. Okay, so Flick can see me. So, Tony, it might be your end. So just try and give it a little tweak of a reconnection. Let me know how you go. All right, let's keep going and hopefully Tony can join us. And Hayley can hear us okay, cool. All right, so working from your ivory tower. So we've got this nice office now. You feel like you need to be seen to be working hard. You're making important phone calls. You're typing furiously on your laptop. You're having these, you know, power discussions with the executives in this big office that you've got. You know, you've got to be seen to doing leaderly things. That's what you want to do, right? Meanwhile, your team's out there totally disconnected, totally disengaged because they don't even know who you are. They don't know who you are. You don't know really who they are. They don't know what your leadership style is. You don't know what they're interested in to help motivate them. So, you know, so how do you fix that? Okay, so let's not worry about our ivory tower and let's work out how we fix this. All right, so what do we need to do instead? Have you ever heard of the phrase management by walking around? I know that's a very military phrase. Being 23 years ex-military, that's probably where I got it from, I would say. But I tell you what, it makes a world of difference. So walking around, walk the ground, start by reaching out to your team members, by meeting them in their workplace. Offer to have lunch or coffee with them, and don't have it in your office, okay? Try and go outside, and your goal is to get to know your people first. So it's pretty much very similar to the first, where you're doing a lot more listening. This is asking a lot more questions so you can get those stories out of your people. What's their interests? What motivates them? What ambitions do they have in life or in work? You know, and if you keep asking questions, they will open up, and even share something about yourself. You can start off with, hey, what footy team do you go for? I go for West Coast. I know it's not a popular team over here in South Australia, but I go for them anyway. You know, you've shared something of yourself, and that makes a big difference for someone to share something with you. It's a sort of a give-take. And then follow up with key individuals if they had a real bugbear, or if you were trying to get back to them with some information that they were seeking. So make sure that you can, you know, follow up with that. You know, have a chat about work stuff, communication. How do the team communicate? Who gets on with who? You know, what's the processes like that they have? Is there procedures that they really enjoy doing or they don't? You know, do all those sorts of things. Venture out, get a sense of the culture, because the culture is ultimately what's going to drive your people, and that's going to be really, really important. So take your laptop out into the breakout area, or have a lunch with them if they have lunch every now, at least once a week. You know, holing up in your big swanky new office isn't going to help anybody. So yes, you've got a great office, absolutely, use it when you need, but do your management by walking around. So try and do that if you can. All right, so that's number 2. So remember, don't stay in your ivory tower in your new office. Actually go out and meet your people and talk to them on a daily basis. That's my tip. All right, so number 3, where are we going with this? Number 3, creating an empire. Okay, so you've probably heard this of a new leader coming in, or an ex-boss of yours coming in and wants to change the world, right? Wants to come in and change the world. Maybe it's a process that they find inefficient, or, you know, maybe their predecessor's legacy that they left, they want to turn it around, or, you know, whatever it may be, they want to change something and create their own empire. You know, they want to stamp that, hey, there's a new leader in town and this is how things are going to be now, and it's swift and it's significant and it's change, and, you know, all around the place. Now, what does that do? Well, I tell you what, it sends out some really mixed signals to start with. It potentially creates this instability with your team and your peers. It promotes fear. Oh my God, what changes are they going to make? Are they going to start getting rid of people? It instills this fear. And it even suggests there's a little bit of recklessness, that you haven't sought to understand whether we've done this before, or, you know, what's worked in the past, or you haven't sought to understand the experience that's in your team. So creating your empire needs to wait. It really does need to wait. So what do we do instead? All right, so let's have a look. So what I want you to do is aim for small wins, okay? Nobody expects you to perform a miracle in the first 100 days. And I know you're keen and enthusiastic, but in fact, you'll be better served by having and focusing on small wins. So, you know, you can move that needle to be, you know, where you want it to be in terms of team performance with smaller, you know, low-hanging fruit. That's going to be a quick and easy win for you. So collaborate with the team, create an inclusive, you know, environment, invite everyone involved to have, what's your really great idea? If you were in my shoes, what would you do right now? You know, seek to understand what they would do. And if you're giving the changes to the people that want the changes, then that's going to be a huge win, and it's going to, you know, build that credibility really, really quickly, and that trust. So small wins. Maybe the biggest bugbear that they've got is there's not a radio in the coffee lounge. So when they're having lunch, it's really, really boring. So is that going to be a quick win? Absolutely. Let it be a quick win. You know, it might be small little things, but it makes a huge difference to their culture, to the way they feel about coming to work, to all those sorts of things. So it makes a big deal. So have a think about that. Just making sure no one's sending me any messages. All right, excellent. So remember, don't create your empire. Don't try and change the world and create miracles as soon as you get in there. Small little wins, and seek to understand what those wins could be by asking your team and your peers around you. So if you're all my shoes right now, what would you do? What would be the first thing you would do? And listen. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4, last but not least, and this is the one I see all the time, is like, you know, you're a top performer. That's why you've been put in the role, okay? Because you're really excellent at what you do. You haven't been in a leadership role for long, and in the past you've relied on your exceptional abilities and your work ethic to get you to the top of your game, which is why you've got this role in the first place. You are absolutely unstoppable. You're full of drive. You're full of energy. You're a one-person wrecking crew. However, as a new leader, it's really, really easy to fall into that trap that I can't ask anyone for help. I have to do it all myself, because that's what I used to do. The truth is, everybody needs help, whether it be from your peers, from other leaders, whether it be from your team. There might be somebody in your team who's got some real strength in a certain thing, whether that's, you know, working on Excel spreadsheets and you've got to write a report and it's got to have an Excel spreadsheet attached to it and you need help. Don't do it all yourself. People will love to support you if you would just reach your hand out to do that. So even the most ambitious leader will fizzle out if you don't have support and trust of your team and your team members. So please don't think that you're the lone wolf. Just really, really try and think about what you can do. All right. So to help you with that, what do? So you need to form win-win relationships with other leaders. So, you know, use your role to bring value to your peers as well. So if you've got some real strengths in certain areas and you can see some leaders could do with those strengths, well, you know, help them out. And then it's not going to be too much of a stretch for you to put your hand out too and ask for a bit of support and assistance. Find some common ground, you know, what are their primary motivations, especially the other leaders that are going to support you. Share your vision and what excites you and see what their reactions are. Maybe it's been done before that you're not privy to. What worked, what didn't work. Ask them the questions. Be quite transparent with the goals of what you want to achieve. You know, be quite open with that and talk to your peer group around that, because they're the ones that you might need to lean on them for support while you're trying to reach those goals. All right, so hopefully that would help. So that last one was, remember, don't be the lone wolf. Yes, you've done it all before yourself and you're a high achiever and you're a top performer and that's why you're in this role. You don't have to do it all yourself once you're here though, okay? Because it is a tough transition. It is tougher than most people even consider. And it's not something that you need to do on your own. So make sure that you reach out where you can. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to drag you back here for, if we have any questions, then we will talk about them now, but I just want the chat up here. All right. Tony, I hope we got you back. Let me close this. Stop the slide presentation. There we go. I'm back. Okay. So, Tony, I hope you saw us. And I hope you were able to reconnect. So first 100 days of being a new leader. Now, if you're past that 100-day mark, there might be still some things in there that you thought, yeah, okay, I can do that a little bit differently, or I can try and do that a little bit more, especially that listening more to speaking. That ratio is really, really important. So if you find you're doing a lot of the talking, try and turn that around. Ask a lot of questions to elicit talking from their end. And remember, oh, great, Tony, glad to see you back. And remember, make sure that you go out and you talk to your people and get to know them a little bit better as people. What motivates them, what excites them, what brings out their passions and enthusiasm, because that's really strengths that you're going to leverage off to get your team to be the top performing team that you're looking for them to be. All right, so I think that's all from us today. It's over to you guys. Have you got any questions about the topic that we talked about today? Is there anything that you want to share with us? Is there any new question that you might have that you're happy to get some information from myself as well as whoever's on the line? And while you're thinking about that and typing a little bit of a question to me, if you've got one, I just wanted to let you know that next week it will not be a live webinar. We will have a pre-recorded webinar. I'm going to be out of the country, so with the time difference and all that, it's just not going to be feasible for me to do a live webinar. So I've pre-recorded one, and it's really exciting because it includes 3 new tools that's coming up on the tool suite, and I go through those tools with you. So please make sure that you dial in. I will be sending you out the link at the time of when we're supposed to have the webinar. So next Thursday at 12 p.m. Sydney, Melbourne time, you will get an email from me, and it will have the link in there to the recorded webinar. So make sure you watch that, because it's introducing 3 new tools into the tool suite that I think will be really, really helpful to you. So keep your eye out for that one. So just to reiterate, no live webinar next week, but we will have a pre-recorded one that introduces 3 new tools. And the week after, we're back to doing live again, okay? So just to let you know that. These 3 tools we're really excited about. We just got them back from the graphic designers the other day, so they're looking really sweet. So I will share those with you next week on the pre-recorded video. So make sure you watch that, or the pre-recorded webinar. Any questions from you guys? All good? Okay, I reckon we're all good. Okay, well, do you know what? Thursday is my favourite day of the week. I love having you guys here. I love Q&A Thursday, where we get to share. Thanks, Flick. All good for you. So what we'll do, remember, next week it's a pre-recorded. I will send you out the link via email, so you'll be able to watch it there. And then we're back to live the following week. And we're introducing 3 new tools next week, so make sure you watch out for that one. If there's any questions that you might have during the week, please feel free. We've still got a team working here on the ground. Please feel free to email at ask@teamleadertoolkit.com, and we will get back to you within 24 hours. And also, you've got the Facebook site too. So if you're not yet on there, it's a secret Facebook site only for unlocking portal members. So you guys, the Team Leader Toolkit Masters, if you've got any questions, you can put it on there as well. So there's another option for you. All right, so without further ado, it's been great chatting to you. Thanks for joining me today. I look forward to catching up with you on my pre-recording next week, and then live again the week after. But until then, we'll speak soon. Cheers. Bye.